Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with Golden Opportunities Coaching. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you who are seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is we discuss psychological, emotional, and coaching-related topics, usually on a daily basis. Over 280 audios for you to choose from, so we got a lot of content for you to check out. I encourage you to do that. Like, subscribe, comment below. And if there's a concept you'd like to see discussed, please feel free to make that request. Usually we can get to it within a couple of days. In any event, we're going to talk about 7 common things that fall into a person's relationship needs portfolio. We all have different needs when it comes to relationships, but the things I'm going to talk about today are usually pretty central to, I'd say, 98 to 99% of people's relationship core needs in one form or another. Now, they're expressed at different rates and ways, and they are also they may change over time. One person may have something they value a lot in their early 20s or as a teenager that may change by the time they're 40. But at the center is the need for all of these things to be at least a structural part of who we are as a relationship. And so the first is honor. When a person says they're going to do something, they do it. When a person believes that something is valuable, they stick to it. The easiest way to say honor is that a person's actions and words match. And nearly every person wants to be able to trust that they can believe that what a person says and does is going to match. And when that dies in a relationship, the relationship itself is already dead unless the person is of belief that trust can be rebuilt. If a person is not capable of believing trust can be rebuilt, the relationship is done right there. And it doesn't matter what a person says, because when actions and words don't meet, that is the moment when a relationship dies. And so that can be, for lots of people, kind of the breaking point in marriages or long-term relationships. When a person is seen as dishonorable, it is virtually impossible to get things back on a positive track consistently. The next is the ability to compromise. Look, we all would prefer that our partners not disagree with us. Who wants to fight with someone we love, right? But the reality is that if a person really, truly believed everything the way you do, there'd be no challenge in getting to know each other in the relationship, and you probably would get bored, and you probably might even be more tempted to cheat because, well, if I figured you out, if I've solved you kind of like a puzzle, then there's absolutely nothing cool that is going to happen here. We're just going to have a series of experiences and always know what the other person thinks and never really have any challenges. So compromise is a necessary foundation in the center of relationships, because the ability to agree to disagree, as well as the ability to meet in the middle. That emotional intimacy of meeting in the middle is actually where the strong, lasting relationships are built, because it's I am worthy that you would sacrifice for me, and you are worthy that I would sacrifice for you. In those moments of the decision of sacrifice is where relationships are truly built. The next in the line is passion, whether it be physical passion and physical intimacy of a sexual nature. Emotional passion, in other words, caring so much about another person that it brings emotion from you. Mental passion in terms of helping someone to figure something out. Or life vision passion, in other words, being willing to serve the other person so they can reach their goals. Passion is central to a relationship. Now, this is one of those that ebbs and flows and needs to change over time. Obviously, you're not going to be up in your partner's space as it relates to physical passion as much at 25 as you are at 55. But that's still going to need to be a central factor. And you're not going to be as emotionally available if you have other things going on as you would during a new relationship. The passion piece will shift with the needs of both parties involved, but it does need to be able to be returned when necessary, and it does need to be able to be expressed in a way that the other person feels safe, secure, and as though they're investing their time and emotions well. The next is supportiveness. So the trust that support is coming regardless of how crazy an idea might be, or how challenging a situation might be, or just as someone works through something, the belief that the other person's going to be there and not change who they are or how they feel is an essential part to central nature of relationship. I can remember I've always been a big picture thinker, and I've always had a desire to do really amazing things. And the best relationships I've ever been in are those who are like, I don't get it, but I support you. Those are the best relationships because, number one, you get to share why you're passionate about something, and it allows the building of mental and emotional intimacy. And number two, you're allowed to be yourself without losing yourself for a relationship. If you're dealing with a partner who does not understand you and is not willing to support what they don't understand, the relationship begins to erode and die. And even if it's subconsciously, we do try and often succeed in finding a partner who is more in alignment with where we are. One of the hardest lessons I had to learn is that I've had a couple of long-term partners who didn't really get me. And looking back with time of reflection when I was sickly and almost passed away, I was able to take stock of my worst relationships were the ones where I didn't feel supported. And that was just a really major factor for folks who, might be struggling in that area or might have issues of a nature of, can I be supported even though my ideas are out there or crazy or feel too big. The next is love style. So there's two parts to love style. One, understanding how your partner's love style works and being inspired to love them in a way that they can receive it. And two, having your love style be understood in a way that you trust that they desire to show you love consistently and often. So love style understanding is only useful when it's put into practical practice. I can understand how a person receives love, but if I'm not willing to engage in the behaviors that make them feel loved, that understanding is worthless. And I have to trust that my partner understands me well enough to know what I need or how I need to feel loved and what makes me feel that way, and desires to be central to bringing that about in our relationship. When that happens, it develops the next in line, which is the closeness. And so closeness is about that intrinsical nature of begin to trust and believe wholeheartedly beyond thought that you couldn't imagine your life without somebody. That's a process, and it's a process where the hardest challenges in life, somebody loses a job, someone takes terminally ill, someone even commits adultery or other forms of negativity. There's this belief that if I'm truly close with somebody, I can find the ability to forgive them. I can find the ability to begin to understand where they were coming from during that transgression. And dare I even say, if you get so close to somebody that you believe they're in your inner circle, even the pain, even though it's harsh and hard, you can't imagine not having the person in your life. So you find within yourself a level of resiliency emotionally that you didn't believe was possible, partially because you met the person. The last is a level of loyalty. So it's the belief that a person can put the relationship first, does put the relationship first, and always will, regardless of disagreement. And that's hard for most people. I can remember being extremely young and my grandmother saying to me, "Don't say I love you or I hate you." And I don't know, this was before I was a teenager, and I said, "Don't say I love you." And she said, "No, because it's a lifestyle commitment." And what she began to explain to me over the next several years is that people use the word love as an emotion rather than a choice. And this is someone who'd been married for 60 years, and she point blank said, "There are lots of things about your grandfather that I do not like, but I love him unconditionally and accept him unconditionally because I made a choice long ago to do so, and that nothing was going to change that choice." And it's just really interesting about that level of loyalty that I now bring to my life and try to emulate. And I think a lot of people misunderstand what loyalty is. Loyalty is just not just your word. It's a commitment to a lifestyle to honor a person. And it's, in a lot of places and ways, a lost art. And so hopefully this has been helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.